A very good evening and a warm welcome to the second edition of UBC News Tonight on this 11th September 2021. Before we get into tonight's bulletin, let's first take a look at tonight's headlines. BMK's body has been returned from Nairobi barrio for Sunday. Uganda police pledges to arrest, punish anonymous letter writers. And the world marks 11th September World Trade Center attack. Good evening once again and welcome to UBC News Tonight on the 11th of September 2021. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and my colleague Mohammed Mugalu on sign language. Now we start off tonight's bulletin with the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Robin Nabbanja, has moved to intervene in land wrangles between refugees and host communities at Nachivale refugee settlement in Isingiro district. Nabbanja's intervention follows reports of illegal settling of refugees on community land without the people's consent. Now she has consequently directed responsible ministries and departments to find a lasting remedy. Take a look.
The concerns were raised.
It is which twina no kugira ngo kabiriho conflict abiraro conflict ko marubiri
And the attention of responsible persons was attracted.
Kandi kana bitere mu sente zanye kana bitere mu amani ganje
mu office tinkora munyenka nyina abantu abakora nabo ninyataga mu bekiriya.
Prime Minister Robin Nabbanja was one of those whose attention was attracted. To acquaint herself more with what is proved to be a serious problem, she visited Nachivale refugee settlement, one of the areas with land conflicts. Here, it was a moment of finger-pointing, counter-accusations, and denials of any wrongdoing.
You gave out that land when you knew. Do you know about the 10 cows?
Maybe they were cut when before I came.
No. Do you know? We also discovered that the chairman of refugees has been having a lot of powers, putting people in people's gardens. And I've said this must stop.
Acknowledging that indeed there is a problem, Nabbanja directed responsible ministries, departments and agencies to find a lasting remedy.
We have agreed that we are going to send here a team of ministers led by the Minister of Lands, even if it means staying here longer. But we must put this issue to an end. We want to see Ugandans stay safely and also our refugees.
She was in company of other ministers and area leaders from Isingiro district. They pledged to work with the Prime Minister.
And in order not to make Ugandan lose, my proposal was that we cut another chunk of land and give it to the civilians. We already cut 13 square miles. So we cut maybe 20 and give the people.
Because it is the government's responsibility as part of the UN mandate to ensure that the host communities of refugees, in case they come from other countries where there are wars and uprisings.
And therefore, we are going to send people so that we demarcate properly. Ugandans, this is your land. And therefore, you stay there as long as you live. Then refugees, this is their land. And we shall demarcate properly.
Earlier, Prime Minister Robin Nabbanja pledged to engage donors on addressing the challenge of budget cuts to refugee management as raised by United Nations High Commission for Refugees.
The funding since 2017, we experience cut on budget every year. And this is the situation for all partners.
I've always had an opportunity to talk to our donors and government partners. I will definitely pass on your message that since 2017, they have been reducing on funding, and I believe together with my other ministers who are present here, we shall really carry that cross. And
Nakivale Refugee Settlement is one of the oldest refugee camps in Uganda, spanning up to about 60 years. Covering a land surface area of 71 square miles, the refugee camp that neighbors the United Republic of Tanzania houses about 100,000 people. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, Prime Minister Robina Nabanja has paid KAYUNGA district a walking tour visit in which she assessed the impacts of floods in the areas following the heavy rains that affected the district. Floods from Lake Kyoga have changed the landscape of Kawogo, Kalenga and Ntimba in KAYUNGA, with several families displaced. Details follow.
Kiyambe okukola oluguudo tenda kanda okusomoka okudda kuli n'amadwaliro okubanga gateereera.
Batukolewo eryato nga ambulance ya mangu mangu.
They have told me coming from Galilaya to the other place is called what? To Kawongo. They charge them 5,000. So a village person, nearly 5,000, who are not even working. That's a lot of money. To and fro, if somebody is going for medication, that is a lot of money. And therefore, we want to buy them boats, and so that they can charge them 1,000 just to buy fuel and to maintain the boat.
All is not well with areas around Lake Kyoga and other big lakes along River Nile following an increase in water volumes that have led water bodies to overflow. KAYUNGA district, which neighbors Lake Kyoga, has had floods for close to a year that have cut off some villages from the rest of the district. At least 20 villages have been left homeless as a result. An estimated 3,000 residents are now homeless. Transport infrastructure has been affected, clean water is affected, power flow has been affected, and gardens submerged. It is for this reason that Premier Robina Nabanja visited the area to assess the flood situation and said government is handling the situation. Nabanja visited Ntimba village using a canoe because the area has been marooned by floods. Nabanja also jumped on a motorcycle to access the situation in the marooned village. She traveled up to Ntimba Primary School. KAYUNGA district leaders pledged before the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja to embrace government programs for the good of the area.
People power tutambulira mu system eriwe ya government ekyo kitengenda okulwana era ensalo z'ebyobufuzi zeziziza ekitundu kino emabega.
Minister of State for Health, Minister of State for Education, Dr. Mugalu, Minister of State for Finance.
Yoweri Museveni these days, by the way, let me tell you, Yoweri Museveni is a performer. You have seen everywhere, every part of this country, of this district is connected to power. I want to commend my government for the work well done.
Floods triggered by heavy rains have affected a number of districts neighboring Uganda's major lakes and along River Nile. Helen Barbara Jizamba reporting for UBC TV News here in KAYUNGA.
Thank you, Helen Barbara. Now, Uganda police advised the public not to panic over the anonymous leaflets aimed at spreading fear. The public has been urged not to get into physical contact with these letters, just in case they are found, to avoid interfering with investigations.
Letters written by nameless persons intended to spread fear in communities have become a common feature of recent. Police, however, says it is on top of the situation and will leave no stone unturned in detecting the perpetuators of this fear and hostility.
So in close coordination with both individuals and communities targeted, we have prudent steps that we have agreed upon to ensure their protection. We've given them tips on how to work with the nearest security unit and also increased our security presence.
In some districts like Mitoma, Bushenya, Masindi, Kamuli, among others, no killings have been registered, but the secretive letters continue to be dropped.
That much as we have these many anonymous threatening letters, we don't have credible information to indicate the validity of those threats that they are going to happen.
Police says self-styled Kigambia Force 2021-2027 group is the elusive group behind this move aimed at spreading fear and panic in communities. So far, 3 people are under police custody in connection with these anonymous threatening letters.
By Chijambia Force. For them, they claim that the Chijambia Force 2021-2027 and that they were going to attack the chairman and 7 other residents on the 6th.
Communities are being asked not to tamper with the crime of sin or even come in contact with these letters, as it may jeopardize the investigations. These are supposed to call police to clear sins.
We kindly ask them to leave the letter or the package wherever it is and not allow any persons around the scene. Then we advise them in so doing to proceed to alert the nearest security unit and wait in a safe place until the police or security teams arrive.
According to police, perpetrators use of scare tactics, including avoiding cameras.
Of course, these are behaviors that are concealed. Nobody has dropped these letters during the day. People have just been waking up in the morning and they find the letters dropped at the door. They find the letters dropped in people's compounds and in the trading centers. You get the point. So it is the manner in which these letters are dropped. It is more of covert.
Security is now advising the public to be vigilant as the country is facing this wave of machete-wielding killers. Over 30 people were murdered in Greater MASAKA, and according to police, this kind of killing is advancing to other parts of Uganda. Abdul Nasser Luwama for UBC News.
Police remains alert in the areas of Luengo, and there is visibility of night patrols by foot, vehicles and motorcycles. However, 4 threatening letters were dropped by the suspected machete-wielding attackers in KAYUNGA village. Ivan Kahwa was in Greater MASAKA and he joined the Uganda Police Force in Luengo to assess the state of night patrols, the effectiveness and the execution.
It is 7 p.m., curfew time. Residents are preparing to vacate the streets for their homes as per the government guidelines to fight the spread of COVID-19. A team of police officers is briefed before being dispatched for night patrols. The foot patrols move around the town, encouraging people to enter their houses.
That you can move.
Most residents are already in their houses, while a handful of them remain moving and conducting business as usual. From Umbirizi town, Luengo district, the officers moved to villages on foot, while reinforced by those aboard Uganda police patrols. Some locals driving in the night are not cooperative with the officers on duty.
I don't have any problem with you. Man, you come down, I check what I check, then we go.
Your security officers, I've read it on my talk, they are checking me. They are here. Let you talk to him.
The driver. He has refused to come out from the
I'm out for that now. I'm out.
He has now come out.
At around 21 hours, the officers on patrol identify an elderly who is in the age bracket targeted by machete-wielding attackers moving alone, but he is escorted to his residence. At this point, we are at Kanyinya village, Luengo district, where we find locals patrolling their area. This is the same area where machete-wielding attackers dropped 4 anonymous letters.
Mujja kutusobola mulimba ate sirwa kugga kati mwe tetuli mwe tetubawadde lunaku naye tujja ate munaku ezitali zaawala ffe bakijambiya bemuwulira ewalala.
Locals suspect that these criminals were part of their security meeting before dropping these letters.
Ajangu abakulu bakwagala kati.
Kyatusobedde kuba ku bantu ababaddewo wali muntu yavudde ku kyalo kirala kujja ku kino wali kyetwabaddeko.
No, some issues are confidential, and for the security reason I cannot, because basically we are also working with some security tips or leads which may help us in further apprehension of some of these people. Like, for example, we also managed to arrest some people, some suspects who were in possession of those leaflets or anonymous letters. So they are being interviewed at the Central Police Station here in MASAKA. So obviously we have leads which are going to help us to. Our number of suspects have been arrested in connection to related incidents of the threatening letters, and we are treating them with caution.
It is 20 to 30 hours and we are with Uganda police patrolling some of the villages in LUWEERO district. 7 motorcycles were dispatched from LUWEERO district central police station to ensure that Ugandans are protected, especially after curfew time. As of now, there is a sigh of relief in Greater MASAKA, to be specific, in LUWEERO district, where no any other case of attacks has been reported. And this is probably because Uganda police continues to intensify on its night operations. These officers check abandoned buildings where these attackers allegedly hide before executing their missions. Police will continue with the operations until there is no further potential threat on the locals in Greater MASAKA. Most villages have set up security committees and are effectively using numbers given to them for quick response by security. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in LUWEERO district.
Bereaved families in Greater MASAKA received condolences of 10 million Uganda shillings each from government. Residents were happy with the gesture and heightened that security in the area, though they also continue to patrol their villages to ensure safety continues. Take a look.
LUWEERO district in Greater MASAKA was most affected by machete-wielding attackers, where at least 19 people were killed. Security has since been intensified in the area with the presence of night foot, vehicles and motorcycle patrols. Village committees have been set up to patrol areas with support from Uganda Police Force.
Police esula yetala okutandika mu ssaawa 3 okudda waggulu okutuuka mu 11 mpitawo ku poliisi yaffe eri wano okumpi ekinoni nsanga emmotoka ezibadde zisulawo nga tezikyaliwo ezibatwala mu patrol.
During the atrocities of the people in Greater MASAKA, the President of the Republic of Uganda pledged to commiserate with those who lost their beloved ones. One of the residents in LUWEERO confirms receipt of the 10 million as promised by the President.
Yayogera akantu akatusise nnyo ffenna ne tuseka n'agamba buli mwaka ebire mu basayi bamanyi ozisokoola abo akatusisa nnyo bamaze ozimuwa n'aziteeka mu banka akomewo bateeketeeke n'abafamily balabe engeri gye banaazikozesaamu kubanga mu butuufu zo sente tezikola business bagenda kutematema balabe bakola entaano y'omugenzi bamaliriza enju y'omugenzi balabike nga bakola ki nga bakola ebintu ng'ebyo. Ko era yatubuuza nti abantu abo abatemu abo bakwatibwa ne tumugamba ssebo ekitiibwa President baabakwata era bali mu makomera munda n'atuzzaamu amaanyi n'atugamba nti bajja kubasiba.
During the meeting at State House, the bereaved requested the President to lift the ban on curfew, and this was the response.
Neyagaana n'agamba bwe curfew mbaga guddewo endwadde zigende mu bantu bonna n'agamba tewali weekuume naye ng'omanyi nti ne curfew waali.
Residents are concerned by the presence of a forest that is not well guarded, and they suspect it is a habitat for machete-wielding attackers.
Batugamba kyabana basi
I made a phone call to the area resident district commissioner over the matter.
So what I want to do now, I want to get my predecessor.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to talk with the DSO and provide that information.
Yes, sir.
Such that it can be processed and worked on.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much for that information.
It should be recalled that locals set part of the bush ablaze when machete-wielding attackers were seen hiding in the area, but their efforts to catch them were unsuccessful. There is a sigh of relief to the people of Greater Masaka as security has been able to arrest key suspects in the attacks, while 12 are on remand, including 2 legislators, Muhammad Sejirinya and Alan Sewanyana. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Greater Masaka.
Still in Masaka district, 2 border riders have been murdered in Chabumba village, Buunga sub-county, Masaka district. The 2 have been identified as Huzaifa Mawanda and Joseph Mukasa. The deceased were sighted by a herdsman this Saturday morning.
Residents of Chabumba village, Buunga sub-county, were this Saturday came face with the impact of the angel of death pervading the region.
Tieno, wabaddewo omwami abadde aleeta ente ku ttale ku makya. Yalabye ekkooti eno ng'eriko envunyu. N'agamba ekkooti eno okubeerako envunyu kijja kitya wano. Tubabanga batusuulidde ki? Omulambo. Kati bw'alabye ekkooti eno kwe kutambulatambulako agenza okulaba ng'alaba omulambo ki? Guli. Ngate gulita nagulaba oguli wali ogwokubiri.
Muyite wali. Wali ndo.
Two bodies of border riders, Huzaifa Mawanda and Joseph Mukasa, were found by a herdsman this Saturday morning.
Mukazi namugala togenda n'agamba akangende nkole. Kuvuru sudanga mukula Huzaifa. Tuzemu muzula nga yuno maiti.
Nkubiriza abakulembeze ba boda nti tubeere nga tuli ku ma stage naye omuntu we tutamanyi tatuparkinga mu.
Masaka Region Police spokesperson Mohammed says they have started investigating the matter.
Wabadde bubbi obwa boda era omulambo guno ogwa Mawanda Huzaifa gubadde gutandise okwononeka okuneatu guno ogwa Mukasa Joseph gubadde gukyavaamu omusaayi guli fresh kigambwa no yatidwa.
He asked border riders to respect curfew hours as a way of avoiding such death.
Very sad news, UBC News tonight. But moving on, Lands Minister Judith Nabakova has ordered for the withdrawal of security guards that had pitched camp at a contested piece of land in Nyamatete, Chinoni, RWAMPARA district. The minister, who visited the disputed piece of land, also directed for fresh surveying of the contested land.
The Minister for Lands and Urban Development, Judith Nabakova, has ordered for the fresh surveying of the contested land in RWAMPARA district.
Shall have the surveyor to come and open boundaries to know exactly how many hectares, how many acres.
It is alleged that the 173-hectare piece of land located in Nyamatete, Rugando sub-county, RWAMPARA district, was a donation by the Kingdom of Ankole to the communities in the early 1950s.
And during those days, the Enganzi of Ankole, the king of Ankole, Enganwa, came. There were some disputes between the agriculturists and the cattle keepers.
Subdivided into 2, the upper and lower belts for cultivation and cattle keeping, respectively, the owners are believed to have coexisted peacefully till the early 80s when they parted ways.
The upper part of the hills, he said those ones are supposed to be used by agriculturists.
Initially owned under a 23-member group, Chitwe Nyamatete Farmers Group, with a leasehold tenure, but disputes began around the early 1990s.
Mubichereze babene barisa dere nshongezo zirebe kuzabo nambwe minister eje shaha nuvuga kugira ngo bigora amashomero twinde fizi yo garabana hishomero
bwana disoria president akakweza ngo twebimbe ochumanya ngo itakeri ryagenda
maybe noza kwambe echome hii agushuma buko tunaza amyetoreza kwedine cyo kuri.
However, amidst the controversies and interests, a group was later reduced to 12 members under a new entity, Chitwe Nyamatete Farmers Company Limited, leaving out 11 members. In pursuit for generosity and equity, some members sought for redress in Mbarara High Court, but in the end lost it out, prompting other members to lodge a complaint to the president. Lands Minister Judith Nabakoba is now in the area to avert the conflict escalation.
I'm here because His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, told me to come and see what is taking place exactly.
Initially in the hands of Chitwe Nyamatete Farmers Company Limited, another landlord through media agencies has now come on board.
Yes, we don't want a lawyer to talk to us. We want someone who bought the land.
What I need RDC and DPC, RDC na DPC, I want you to let people graze their animals.
As tenants decried continued ill treatment, Nabakoba directed for the withdrawal of private guards from the contested land.
Embundu nekuma omuntu konke embunde za Uganda obwirobo nizikuma mataka nizikuma ente nizikuma embuzi oyereka hitaka kakumu nibakutera embundu oyereka embuzi ninga nkoko kakumu embundu nebe kujya mugongo
na Nyamatete na Rwengiri abantu bona bakaboroga iwo nogire cyo wehamu.
Private security guards should get out of this place. We need a neutral force that belongs to government to make sure that there is law and order.
Robert Onyango, RWAMPARA District.
The body of city tycoon and business mogul Dr. Haji Ibrahim Mwanga Chibirige has been returned from Nairobi, Kenya, where he died on Friday. Mwanga Chibirige's body was flown from Nairobi this afternoon and received at Entebbe International Airport by friends and relatives. Also better known as BMK, the proprietor of Hotel Africana, was battling complications related to prostate cancer. Born on the 2nd of October 1953, Haji Ibrahim Mwanga Chibirige, commonly known as BMK, is set to be buried at Nkowe Muslim burial ground located in Wakiso district this Sunday. BMK, the proprietor of Hotel Africana, is survived by wives and children. He died at the age of 68. Now, former Toro Kingdom Prime Minister John Sanyu Katuramu has been released from jail after serving 20 years. Katuramu was picked from LUWEERO prisons by his young son Job Katuramu. Also released was his nephew Patrick Kwezi and Alex Twinomugisha. The trio were convicted and sentenced to death in 1999 for the murder of Toro Prince Happy Kijanangoma and Stephen Kaganda, a guard, on the 25th of March 1999. Their sentence was, however, commuted to life imprisonment after the Supreme Court abolished the death penalty which they served. All right, UBC News Tonight takes a short break, but we will return with more stories. Keep it locked.
Get Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly. Until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV Valley. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
My home, I smile when I think of you, Uganda. My home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda. My home, oh my Uganda.
I know, with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home, under the sun so bright, under the moon at night, on my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama.
At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Five times the winning, yeah. 5 times the happiness, yeah. 5 times the luckiness, yeah. 5 for 5, oh yeah. It's 5 for 5. 5 for 5. 5 times the money, yeah. 5 times the shopping, yeah. 5 times the prizes, yeah. 5 for 5, oh yeah. It's 5 for 5. 5 for 5.
Win 100,000 Uganda shillings weekly in the 5 for 5 jackpot. Simply download the Center mobile app. Click Center on the go to open your account online. Transact 5 times or more using Center Mobile, Center Visa, and Center Agent to stand a chance to win. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. So, participate in the 5 for 5 jackpot and win millions in daily and weekly prizes. The 5 for 5 jackpot is brought to you by Centenary Bank. Our bank, Centenary Bank, is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund.
Be part of the launch of the new National SDG Roadmap 2021 to 2025.
We can be, we must be.
The generation that starts the journey of repairing the earth. It's possible. We have the roadmap.
The global goals, a 15-year plan that includes each and every one of us with the intention of
leaving no one behind. The government of Uganda, through the Office of the Prime Minister, in partnership with the United Nations in Uganda, invites you to the launch of the country's National Sustainable Development Goals Roadmap 2021 to 2025. The SDGs are the world's blueprint to achieve a better and sustainable future for all by 2030, leaving no one behind. The Right Honourable Robin Anabanja, Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, will preside over the launch of the roadmap on Wednesday, 15th September 2021, starting at 8:30 a.m. The launch will be telecast live on UBC television and NTV. Attendance is by invite only.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175 *94# to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175 *94# to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175# and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Join us virtually as we celebrate URA's 30th anniversary and annual Thanksgiving service. The event will be live on all major TV channels and on Zoom. The guest of honor will be His Excellency, the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The celebrations will take place at the Kololo Independence Grounds on the 15th of September 2021, starting at 10 a.m. Ebenezer, Thus far, the Lord has helped us.
Lord, I am thankful, thankful for the name of Jesus, thankful for the blood that cleans us. Lord, I'm thankful for you. Each day I am thankful, thankful for the Spirit's leading, thankful that in you there's healing.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn, MASAKA, Kazimoto and Mohammed Mugalu on sign language. Now in more news this evening, all is set for Toro Kingdom's 26th Mpango celebrations on Sunday at Karuzika Palace in Fort Portal Tourism City. Now this year's Mpango will be attended by few people in observance of the COVID-19 guidelines. Now this was disclosed at the Kingdom's marked Mpango Kutoma, the day that precedes the coronation anniversary day.
This is the mood in Toro Kingdom as preparations for the 26th coronation anniversary of King Oyo Nyimba Kabamba Iguru Rikidi IV get underway this Sunday. The day that also attracted Toro Kingdom royals was characterized by cultural dances with full observance of COVID-19 standard operating procedures. At the main entrance to the palace, a rapid COVID-19 test is a must for everyone before proceeding to the palace for the event. The Minister for Health, Toro Kingdom, Dr. Tito Bieza, said that the exercise is aimed at avoiding the third of COVID-19.
We are now doing a rapid test for every participant in this activity today and tomorrow. Will undergo a rapid diagnostic test for COVID-19. So everybody going up to the palace is stopping at the main gate and we do a rapid test.
Due to COVID-19, some cultural rituals to mark the coronation have been foregone to avoid crowds who gather to witness. The rituals suspended include presenting the royal regalia to the king, the royal court, royal milking, among others, which are main rituals for the coronation. However, a few like Empako naming and Makondere dance were performed. In his speech, Omukama Oyo commended the Ministry of Health for containing the COVID-19 pandemic.
I offer my sincere appreciation and gratitude to the health workers, Ministry of Health, and all other frontline staff in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. I express my solidarity with all those who are infected and affected by COVID-19 and extend my sincere condolences to those who have lost their loved ones.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, assured the Kingdom of closer cooperation and government to finalize the return of the Kingdom's properties.
And this Kingdom of Toro is a friendly president. And the president is doing whatever it takes to keep this kingdom alive and kicking.
Only 200 people are expected at Sunday's coronation.
The Minister of State for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, has asked land grabbers and encroachers on the land of Medical Training Institute in Jinja City to vacate. Muyingo, who was touring various medical training institutes in Jinja City, was informed that land grabbers have encroached Ophthalmic Clinical Officers Training School in Masese.
The Ministry of Education and Sports is inching on land grabbers that have been stealing government land. The State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, says government has been forced to use courts of law to liberate some of its land. Muyingo was touring the Ophthalmic Clinical Officers Training School in MASAKA, Jinja City. He was accompanied by officials from the Ministry of Education and Sports.
Incredibly disturbed to learn that land grabbers are trying to encroach on the school land. This is unacceptable. We condemn it, and we are going to see to it that these land grabbers do not succeed. My advice to them: they better take off before the strong arm of the law catches up with them. We are here to defend and protect the property.
The minister and his team visited Jinja School of Nursing and Midwifery, Medical Laboratory Training School and Ophthalmic Clinical Officers Training School in MASAKA.
Students telling me and the principals have told me that the students have been vaccinated, which is a very good gesture and a very good lesson to all of you who are there, that you can get vaccinated and continue with your normal life. All those speculations, I think you have some good lessons to learn from what's happening in this region, this part of Uganda.
The Commissioner Education and Health Training in the Ministry of Education, Safina Msene, said government prioritized opening of medical training institutes across the country as part of the deliberate move to build capacity in the health sector.
Since August, the separate institutions were opened, and when they opened, they were provided standard operation procedures to follow, but also they were instructed that their students and the staff will be vaccinated while they are back at school. Now that's what Honorable was coming to confirm.
Kasibante Fred compiled this report.
Outgoing LUWEERO RDC Rose Birungi has advised her successor as LUWEERO RDC Najuma Juliet Senkole to always embark on service delivery, especially in respect of the NRM manifesto. Now, this was during a farewell ceremony to Rose Birungi, who has been the President's representative in LUWEERO for over the last 7 months.
Rose Birungi has formally left the LUWEERO Residential District Commissioner office and handed over to her successor Juliet Najuma Senkole. During her stint as LUWEERO RDC, COVID-19 ravaged the country, but she ensured unity amongst political and technical wings of the district.
Yeah, there have been a number of achievements that we managed to achieve during our short stay in the LUWEERO district. For instance, we had managed to bring back together the people, especially those ones who had been taken by the North Wave. At least they had promised to come back to, in the mother party of NRM, and I'm sure if my colleague continues with that line, LUWEERO will be different.
Incoming LUWEERO Resident District Commissioner Juliet Najuma Senkole promises to lay emphasis on education and improved agriculture to boost household revenue.
Together with my team, my deputy, Abel Mashambo, we have come and have reported today. Our plans as a team, we want to focus on 4 key issues. The first issue is the commercial agriculture. Then service delivery, then ICT and industrialization.
The occasion was graced by the LUWEERO Chief Administration Officer Elizabeth Namanda and the Senior Presidential Advisor on Diaspora Affairs, Ambassador Abekigozi Warusimbi.
We look forward to your guidance, to cooperation and support. For us civil servants, what normally bothers us is poor working relationship.
Rose Birungi was transferred to Bugweri district, while Juliet Najuma enters LUWEERO from Abim district.
Today in history.
It was on Tuesday morning 8:45 a.m. when an American Airlines Boeing 767 loaded with 20,000 gallons of jet fuel crashes into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The attackers were Islamic terrorists from Saudi Arabia and reportedly financed by Saudi fugitive Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda terrorist organization. The impact left a gaping, burning hole near the 80th floor of the 110-story skyscraper, instantly killing hundreds of people and trapping hundreds more in higher floors.
The Uganda Cancer Institute, together with the Palliative Care Association of Uganda, will host the 3rd Uganda Conference on Cancer and Palliative Care from the 23rd to the 24th of September 2021 on the theme Cancer and Palliative Care in COVID-19 and Other Challenging Situations. The conference will be held virtually with some sessions broadcast live on UBC TV plus workshops at hospitals to bring together at least 400 stakeholders. The Prime Minister of Uganda will be chief guest at the opening session and there will be a keynote address by the Director General of the World Health Organization. To participate, register through https://conference.uci.or.ug/ at 200,000 shillings only for Ugandan delegates. Upcountry delegates will attend through satellite facilities at regional referral hospitals, hospices and palliative care organization centers and referral cancer centers. For more information, call 0392 080 713 or 0414 540 410. Email conference@uci.or.ug or conference@pcau.org.ug.
Brought to you by
Transact 5 times or more using Center Mobile, Center Visa, and Center Agent to stand a chance to win. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. So, participate in the 545 jackpot and win millions in daily and weekly prizes. The 545 jackpot is brought to you by Centenary Bank, our bank.
Welcome back from that break. And now into business. Uganda's agricultural sector is the mainstay of the economy. Now it thus needs thorough attention to enable more than 70% of the population thrive. Now this can be achieved in many ways, but most importantly, educating grassroots extension staff to reach local farmers to advise commercial agriculture.
In 2010, the Ministry of Education and Sports reverted key agriculture training institutions to the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. These institutions included Bukalas Agriculture College, which merged with Veterinary Training Institute, and the others were Fisheries Training Center, Dairy Training Center, and National Farmers Leadership Center in Kampiringisa. The main reason was for closer supervision to enable production of quality agriculture extension experts. This has in fact helped the agriculture sector attain numerous successes that are enjoyed by the public that boost their household income. But amidst execution of their duties, these institutions are faced by many challenges like funding and poor remuneration, which disinterests capable staff.
Sir, I also request for your intervention to reverse the reduction of staff salaries caused by erroneous placement of our staff to a post-primary teacher's salary structure 4B. Honorable Minister, we need your continuous support in implementing our strategic and business plan, and more urgently in shifting to blended teaching and learning, a necessity created by COVID-19 pandemic. We have to go online teaching whatsoever.
State Minister for Agriculture Fred Chakulaga acknowledges the challenges and promises lasting solutions to enable the institutions grow capacity to help the transition to commercial agriculture and the value chain.
I wish to assure you that my ministry is determined to improve staff capacity, welfare, and to equip them to access latest knowledge and skills that are required to meet the demands as dictated by the dynamics of our field. Going forward, the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries commits that the necessary policy and institutional reforms shall be undertaken to ensure agricultural training institutions are well placed and well managed.
The minister was presiding over the 56th graduation ceremony of Bucharest Agricultural College, at which 675 graduates were conferred upon diplomas and certificates.
NAMANVE thermal power plant is set to be handed over to government after the expiry of the implementation agreement with the private player Jacobsen AS of Norway. The Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, has confirmed that Uganda Electricity Generation Company will undertake the operation and maintenance of this month.
In 2007, at the peak of load shedding, Government of Uganda and Jacobsen AS of Norway term of 13 years, wherein Jacobsen Electro undertook to build, operate and maintain a 50 megawatts heavy fuel oil thermal plant. The contract, which had been extended for an additional 1 year, is nearing its end.
We are hoping that we shall have it, but just in case we encounter a challenge, there are provisions that can be evoked to make sure that we don't face or hit a hard rock. But in the 12-month extension that was done, we were able to receive the due diligence report. It was submitted to us. We discussed it. We forwarded copies to Jacobsen. They also went through it. At least that was key. And it's not something that you can do within a week to come up with a report that picks everything that we have seen, including what is in the store. It was embedded in the report.
On the 15th of September, the power plant located at NAMANVE Chiwanga village is set to be officially handed over to government. Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited will take over as the implementation agency.
What that does for the country, of course, is ensure we are building our capacity, but also it goes in a way to ensure that we are managing aspects to do with the cost and resultant tariff from the plant. So that is something that we will be focusing on in the coming days and ensuring that we bring it to a logical conclusion.
Now the B and O phases are over. Now we are at the transfer stage. And what that means is that UEGCL, as a government company mandated to own all generation assets on behalf of government, it means we have to come in and own this asset on behalf of government.
Its handover is estimated to save government about 8 billion shillings per year, enhance UEGCL's capacity to independently operate and maintain power plants, as well as reduce generation tariff by 18%. Dennis Igor for UBC Business.
A solution to farmers' plight regarding to post-harvest losses is in the offing. Now this follows experts' intervention in boosting value addition and poor harvesting initiatives. Sasakawa Africa Association has been training communities in Chiboga, Mubende and Isingiro district on cookery and bakery from locally produced produce.
Value addition to the farmer's produce is a solution to the ever-fluctuating prices and mega household incomes from farming. Many farmers usually sell off their produce from the garden at very low prices, and in turn, many have remained poor and rudimentary.
These communities are mostly farmer communities, and we are trying to increase their income. That is why we come here and do these trainings to add value to what they are doing. Let's say if someone was selling cassava at 500 per kilo, and then you teach them how to make cookies from that cassava, they'll end up making a bigger profit, maybe even 10,000 from the little they harvested.
Sasakawa Africa Association has embarked on equipping farmers with various skills, mainly in value addition, as a way of helping them earn from their sweat.
We encourage them to always engage in these trainings, and we now let them understand that agriculture is the way to go, because adding value, just like juices that are so many these days in the market, you can gain a lot instead of just selling raw food.
The coordinator, post-harvest handling and agro-processing at Sasakawa Africa Association, Jackie Namsalisi, says adopting value-addition technologies is the answer.
A bunch of matoke right now in Sinjiro or around this area costs about 5,000. That's a medium batch of matoke. But if you transform that matoke, you dry it and get powder, and from that powder you process it into cakes.
One of the farmers' leaders from Ramata in Chiboga district, Elfas Odela, is grateful to the organization which has trained them in improved farming techniques, again coming up with value addition and marketing skills.
I thank Sasakawa Africa, who have been cultivating and harvest and sell as cassava. But now, I cannot sell single thing when it is not added value.
Many of the farmers were taken through backing of different products from cassava flour, sweet potato, maize, soya flour, and they are grateful that the skills is to change their livelihood.
I came here to learn how to bake some things, like how to bake cakes out of the things we grow.
Is that we can at least improve, or we can be innovative on the issues of making cakes from cassava flour.
Value addition contributes to food security by ensuring that food stays fresh and longer. Sudat Kaye, Douglas Setumba, UBC.
Was brought to you by the 545 jackpot is brought to you by Centenary Bank, our bank.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
And now into international ceremonies are underway across the U.S. to commemorate 20 years since the 9/11 attacks against the U.S. In New York, the ceremony started with a minute's silence at 12:46 GMT, the exact time the first plane hit the North Tower of the World Trade Center in 2001. Thousands of people across the U.S. have gathered to mark the somber occasion. President Joe Biden will travel to all three attack sites today, that is New York, Pennsylvania and Virginia. A minute of silence also marked the moment the second plane crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center when a third jet struck the Pentagon in Virginia. The moment a fourth hijacked plane crashed into a field in Pennsylvania, and finally when the World Trade Center towers collapsed. In total, 2,977 people died in the attacks when Al-Qaeda militants hijacked U.S. passenger planes and crashed them. Most of those killed were U.S. citizens, but the victims also included nationals from more than 90 countries. All right, now the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Friday called for joint efforts of all countries to deal with the threat of terrorism. Guterres made the statements at a press conference at a UN headquarters in response to the Security Council's grave concern over the threat of terrorism 2 decades after the 9/11 terrorism attacks and the global war on terror. Guterres said he is very worried about the terrorist threats, and there are 2 major problems for the global fight against terrorism. Besides, when small organizations launched attacks, the military in many countries may not be ready to respond to violent and terrorist attacks, the UN chief noted. And into sports, the Game Connect project, which is an initiative between Uganda Olympic Committee and several partners, notably Italian firm AVC, has gathered momentum with visits to various settlement camps met with enthusiasm. The project, funded by the Olympic Refugee Foundation, targets using sports for protection.
The role of sport in a country may be undermined by many others, but not Uganda Olympic Committee, that is reaching out to the most vulnerable countrywide. This they are doing through the Game Connect project, which is an initiative birthed by the International Olympic Committee and achieved in collaboration with several partners.
We are glad to be implementing the Game Connect project, in which we flagged off this pilot project earlier on this year. We are happy to be working with the partners, AVC, Right to Play, Youth Sport Uganda and the UNHCR on this particular project. Starting this week on Monday the 6th, we have been in Rwamparara, in the Kamwenge district, where we have been trying to introduce 5 particular games and structuring clubs for these games. The games we have introduced include football, basketball, volleyball, netball and taekwondo, which is a self-defense mechanism.
The brainchild of this project thought it wise to take it to the refugee settlements and their host communities for reasons explained by the project coordinator Brandon Katura.
As you are aware, this project is one that seeks to do sport for protection, and therefore we are trying to use sport as a tool for improving the psychosocial well-being and the mental health of young people, both refugees and the host community. We are happy that the game has received a lot of traction and reception in these particular communities. We have had over 8 clubs formed in more than 4 locations for each of these games. So we head on to Adjumani today, as we hope to do the same kind of work, and we shall therefore then be moving to Lamo thereafter, and finally back in Kampala in the next 2 weeks.
At Rwamparara in Kamwenge district, the stops were at Mahani B, Kaihora, Kinyonza, Buguli and Rwenshwera, where the activities were received with passion and enthusiasm.
We as Rep-Shy people, we are very pleased, we are very happy to have these people from the UOC, the Uganda Olympic Committee, visit us in our village. We are very happy that we've been trained in different sports, that is the volleyball, the netball, the basketball and the taekwondo game.
Between 12th and 16th September, the project will be in Adjumani and Lamo to identify and structure sports clubs both in the refugees and host communities. This initiative is geared towards the end-of-year inter-community competitions in the respective settlements. Excellent performers will, through the Uganda Olympic Committee Talent Identification Commission and federations, be linked to structured local community clubs to up their talent.
Well, we want to thank you so much for your company this lovely evening, but of course a quick caution that you should remember to wear your mask, remember to keep safe, remember to sanitize, remember to wash your hands with soap and water. From myself, Mohammed, Mugalu and the newsroom team, not forgetting the control room team, we wish you a good night.
COVID-19, only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing.
Be part of the launch of the new